All right, so my name is William Coppich. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Just to tell you a little bit about the business that we started and why we decided to put on this training for everybody. So first of all, we started a company called NewAge Alliance. It's a company founded by former federal employees, and all of us have a deep passion for public health, right? With everything that's going on with the country and, the state of the government, we've decided to start our own company to ensure that we can continue the mission of public health, providing those services to the public, whether it's through the federal level, state, local, or what have you. But we've also expanded it to increasing operational excellence. So whether it's a private sector company, nonprofit company, we want to make sure that we're able to provide and support them in any type of way, whether it's business services, or whether it's analytics, just figuring out how to make their business more efficient overall. So have an amazing team of people that's partnered with me in this venture, and I'm excited to have most of them on the call tonight. But one of the things that we want to do that separates us from most companies is to ensure that we're investing in our employees and our team. So we're hosting sessions like this periodically to ensure that you're able to learn some of the newer technologies such as AI, but then also helping with personal development. We'll have like free coaching and just things that's going to make you better as a person and better professionally. So we've partnered tonight with Firefly Field Labs that was founded by Allison McNeil, and she's joining us to help facilitate this training tonight. And I know on the advertisements, I mentioned Gerard Banks will be hosting tonight as well. And he's someone who's excellent in technology. If you know Mr. Banks, he's a guru when it comes to artificial intelligence and programming overall. But unfortunately, he's a little under the weather. So I'm gonna step in. I got some big shoes to fill, so don't hit me with hard questions, please. But I'm gonna do my best to cover his part and give you guys the information that'll be beneficial to you. So this call will be recorded tonight. So we'll share the link to everybody that registered, so that way you can go back and rewatch it. And we're gonna ask that everybody save their questions for last, okay? But I do want to say a little bit about Allison before I begin. Allison, I've known her for years. So we started off together at CDC. I met her when I joined the Office of Smoking and Health. And since I've known her, she's one of those people that you go to and she just gets the job done. She's head of our communications office, excellent facilitator, excellent communicator, and just someone who knows how to be organized, very methodical when it comes to planning events and planning conference sessions like this. If you've ever been a part of CDC's chronic center, you probably recognize her, but she's a wealth of knowledge, and it's a pleasure to have her with us tonight. So we're going to hop right into it. And before we begin, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about myself personally, my background. So I used to work at the CDC with the Division of Population Health. And there I was a program management official. And one of the things that I've always had a passion for was making things more efficient, right? I love technology. My educational background is electronic engineering and technology. So that's my thing. I love to help people become more versed when it comes to some of the newer tools that they can use to enhance their work. And I'm gonna emphasize that we're trying to enhance your work, not replace you. A lot of people have this perception that artificial intelligence is here to take their jobs and replace them. And I'm the first to tell you that's not the case. It can do some things that we can't do, but it cannot replace that human element. So what we're going to do is teach everybody how you can become more efficient, get more familiar with some of the tools that are available so you can do your job better. So why does this matter? Many people spend too much time on routine tasks like research, emails, and reports. AI tools can be automated and simplify these processes. So you don't need to be tech savvy. That's the great thing about this. You don't have to be a coder. You don't have to be a programmer. All you have to do is understand what's called prompting. Once you understand how to prompt and properly communicate with the AI tool, you can get it to do what you need it to do. So we're going to cover a couple of things under my section, and then I'm going to turn it over to Allison, where she's going to kind of cover a little bit more about AI and what it is, and some recommended tips on how to utilize it as well. So what we're going to cover tonight is free AI tools that you can use right now. We're going to go over a list of them, and we're going to actually give you guys some examples on how to use those tools. And when you're using those tools, we're going to give you examples such as research, writing emails, report analysis, things that you can do in your everyday life. And we're also going to show you how this is integrated within Microsoft Office now. I'm pretty sure everyone up here, they're familiar with Microsoft, and I think that's the most commonly used business tool that there is right now. But one of the things we're also going to cover is AI agents. And I don't know if you've ever seen an agent before, but it is amazing. So we're going to show you guys some free AI agents that you can use today. So what is AI in plain language? AI stands for artificial intelligence, and it's software that helps perform smart tasks. It can summarize, draft, analyze, and answer questions. And think of it as a digital assistant. You can use it to browse different topics. You can use it within your office apps to help you do your work more efficiently. But I want to emphasize the part, this is your assistant. So don't feel like, AI is going to take your job. It's here to support you, and you should treat it as such. So the first tool I'm going to talk about, and I think this is one that most people are familiar with, is ChatGPT. So you can use it for all kinds of things. You can use it to create graphics. You can use it to summarize reports, write emails. It's a very powerful tool. For tonight, though, we're just going to focus on one example, which is writing emails. So we're going to have it write a professional email by asking it to update us on a project. And then we're going to ask it to summarize this 5-point report, this 5-page report into 5 bullets. So we're just going to give you the simple example of a prompt. And let's go to the next slide. So in this example, we have this young lady named Lauren, and someone is about to write her a poorly written email. So the subject of the email is need this ASAP. And they put ASAP in all caps because when people put in all caps, that means they're yelling at you. And so she receives this email. It says, "Hey, Lauren, I need you to send me that report you were talking about. I've been waiting on it. My boss keeps asking me about it. Can you hurry up and get it to me today? Also, make sure the numbers are right this time because last time they wasn't correct. Thanks, Gerard." So Gerard was very rude in that email. So we got to fix that. So one of the things we can do is we can create a prompt. And guys, can you guys hear me? That's her a little. All right, cool. All right, so one of the things we can do is create a prompt that can tell it to write the email and make it sound more professional, clear, friendly, and respectful while keeping the same message. Because, he does need the right numbers and he does need it timely, but we want to say it in a way where it's not going to create tension between him and Lauren. So one of the things we did, we recorded this so that way there's no lag when it comes to using the tool. And I'm going to play the video. Hopefully it works. Let's see. Can you guys see the video? If somebody can give me a verbal yes, that'd be great.
We see it.
Okay, perfect. So this is me, and I'm gonna pause it for just 1 second because I want to make sure that you know how to get to this tool. So you get to this tool by going to chatgpt.com. Right? So that's me typing in. And what I did was I actually copied and pasted the email after I entered the prompt. So that's me copying and pasting it into the text, into the box. So as you can see, it created a polished version of the email. Sounds a lot better. All right, there we go. So now that we have the polished, more friendly version of the email, we're going to now slide. Now we're going to send this to Lauren, right? So follow up on report request. So that's a better subject line than the one that was there before. And now we're saying, "Hi, Lauren. I hope you're doing well. I want to follow up on the report you mentioned. My supervisor has been checking in with me about it. So if you're able to send it over today, I would really appreciate it. Also, please double check the numbers before sending it. Some of the figures were incorrect last time, and I wanted to make sure everything is accurate before I shared it. Thank you so much for your help. Best regards, Gerard. So it still got the point across that we needed good numbers and we needed it timely, but it said it in a way where it didn't just make Lauren upset like she was before. Y'all saw that previous picture. So we want to make sure that we're being able to communicate effectively with our colleagues, and AI can help us with that. All right, so for the next example, the next tool we're going to use is Microsoft Copilot. So Copilot is an AI tool built specifically for Microsoft Office 365, and it helps us work smarter, not faster and smarter. It understands natural language, so allows you to use simple prompts instead of complex commands. And it can draft emails, summarize documents, and analyze data and create content across Word, Outlook, Excel, Teams, and more. And Copilot can also automate repetitive tasks so you can focus on higher value work and decision making. So we're going to give you guys an example of how that works. So the example we're going to use is analyzing a budget. And we're going to use Copilot in order to look at some numbers. So one of the things that Copilot can do in Excel, it can help us analyze data using plain language. It can create formulas. I know some people are like, I don't know any formulas in Excel. I don't know how to use it. I definitely don't know how to use or create any charts. So Copilot can help us do all of that. It can summarize trends and give us insights into the data. And like I just mentioned, it can generate charts instantly. So you don't have to have advanced Excel skills. All you have to do is know how to prompt. All right, so in this scenario, we have Byron. Byron has a simply monthly budget that he needs to analyze. So his bills are kind of high. You know, we're looking at Byron's budget here. His housing is he plans to spend 18,000, I'm sorry, 1,800 a month. And the actual he spent is 1850. So he has some numbers here. So we want to see how AI can help Byron analyze his budget and what he can do better. So the prompt that we're going to use is analyze this budget and tell me where I overspent, where I underspent, and give me one recommendation. And I'm going to play that now. And I'm going to pause it real quick. So I'm going to office.com. And that's where you go to access all of Microsoft's tools like Word and Excel. The cloud-based version should have Copilot integrated into it. So that's how you can get to that tool. But you'll see how I navigate to it. Going to the app section, then I'm going to Excel. All right, there's Byron's budget. So I'm clicking on that and opening it. And there's his budget. So I'm going to the Home tab. And then once I went to the Home tab, Copilot shows up on the right-hand side. It didn't show that part, but you'll see it when you click on the Home tab. And now I'm entering the prompt, analyze this budget, and tell me where I overspent, where I underspent, and give me one recommendation. So now it's thinking. All right, so now it gives me the breakdown. It shows what was planned, what was actual, where I overspent, underspent. It even gives me the recommendations telling me to focus on expenses and groceries. Apparently, I'm eating too much, overspent by like $125, which is a lot. Now, then it asked me, did I want it to visualize it? I was like, sure, why not? So we're about to create a chart without using any formulas or anything like that. It's going to do it automatically for me. So I'm scrolling down, and there's my chart. So now to get that chart into the actual spreadsheet, all I'm going to do is copy and paste it right over into my spreadsheet. There it is. So this was a very simple budget, but imagine if you're doing a report for work and you need to do some quick analysis. You can go right into Excel, open up Copilot, and have it analyze the data for you. So let's see. So that's the results that he received from the analysis. He overspent categories, as you can see. Housing, he planned to spend 1,800. He actually spent 1,850. Groceries, he really went over on that. And then entertainment, he went over that as well. He underspent in utilities, and then it has the recommendation. So it can definitely help you when it comes to analyzing numbers and figures. If you're not good at those things, AI can help you do that. All right, so AI agent modes. This is where we start getting really interesting. So, what's the agent? Agent mode lets AI add as many assistants for tasks. So you can have a research agent which gathers information and creates summaries. You can have a writing agent that can even draft and revise documents for you. You can have one that does analysis for you, so it interprets the data and reports. And the main thing with all of these agents is that it saves time by combining multiple steps into one action. So in other words, it's not just us, putting in the prompt and getting the information. We're actually telling AI, I need you to do this, and it does it for us. So Perplexity Comment Browser, that's a very new free AI agent that everybody can use now. So imagine like, everybody's familiar with Chrome or Microsoft Edge. Those are browsers that we use to browse the internet. So these browsers are, lack of better term, smart, right? They can look at what's on your screen, understand what it sees, and start doing things for you. So AI-powered browsers that summarize website instantly, so it can do that. It helps with research topics that are faster than built-in AI assistants. And some of the examples of things they can do is summarize web pages. So we're going to give you guys an example of Perplexity AI comment. So in this scenario, Taylor has been asked to create a SharePoint list. And I know from my days at CDC, some people hate SharePoint. They don't even want to use it, better yet, have to create something in SharePoint, right? So she has to create a list of new employees for her company. She has never used SharePoint before, and she doesn't know how to perform this task. So what's she going to do? She's going to use AI. So in this example, I want to note one thing before I go further, because this is a very long prompt, right? One of the things that Taylor did before she started was she asked ChatGPT to create a prompt asking Perplexity Browser how to create a SharePoint list, right? And she gave all the details that she needed into ChatGPT before this prompt was created. So you can use AI to help you create prompts that are more effective. We'll probably get into that in another training, but I just want to notate that is how this prompt was developed, right? So now she's going to take this prompt and she's going to enter it into Perplexity Browser. Now, for time's sake, because it took it about 18 minutes to actually do this task, I sped through it, so it's going to kind of go fast, but you'll get the concept. Let me play this video. All right, so just so you guys know, what I did was I went to office.com in my Perplexity browser. So I'm logged in, so it didn't have to use my credentials to get into the system. I'm on my company SharePoint site, and I'm gonna go to the list section. And once I'm there, all I have to do is tell it to create me a list, and it's gonna do it. So the prompt was entered over here in the right-hand side. So you should see that text going. So as the window is moving. I'm not doing anything. The browser is clicking through everything for me. It's going to the list section, is creating the list for me. As you can see, the table is there by default. It's now creating each column for me based on the prompt that I gave it. So it's creating the first name column, last name column. I think I was eating a sandwich at this point, watching it, making sure that it was doing it right. That's one thing you have to do too. You have to keep an eye on it because once again, it's an assistant. It doesn't replace us. Sometimes it can make mistakes. So even though it's doing the work for me, I have to sit back and verify that the work is being done correctly. So it's adding all the different columns. That's the welcome status. So as people join the company, we'll know if we sent them a welcome email or not. Now it's entering in each person for me. It automatically knew the first and last name, so I didn't have to break that up. It instantly understood the naming mechanism and put the email information in the right spot. And I would encourage people too, this is a work scenario. I would just play with it sometimes, maybe if you're shopping and you're looking for a specific item, use the browser and tell it, look, I need this specific toy for the holidays for my child. And you can put it into the prompt and it will start looking for it for you and tell it to provide you with a report after it searched all over the internet for you of the best places to buy this toy. So there's a lot of use cases you can use with this. But as you can see, that was it. So now that list has been created. So so Taylor's happy. She has a SharePoint list. She didn't have to learn SharePoint. All she had to do was put in a prompt and it created the list for her. All right, so using AI for research. And this is one of the things that a lot of people take for granted with this tool. You can do so much research when it comes to artificial intelligence. It can go through different documents that you upload into the system, or it can search the net and look for some of the latest data on whatever topic you entered. So in this example, we're going to do a search on contracts, on federal contracts. So basically, you can use any browser to kind of do this. The ones that I use the most, honestly, is ChatGPT when it comes to like deep research. But you can use Perplexity, you can use Gemini, you can use Claude. There's a lot of different tools you can use, but these are just some of the ones that I use on a regular basis. So we're going to use this prompt here, research and summarize the latest government contracting trends, refine the results in plain language, and create a summary into a Word document. And so we're going to see how that works. And the person in this scenario is Judy. She's been asking the market research on federal government contracts, and she needs to create a report, and the deadline is tomorrow. And she doesn't have time to do all this research herself. So she's going to use AI. So this is her using AI. And I sped through this a little bit too, because it did take some while for this report to generate, but that's because it's going through so much data to gather the information and summarize it, analyze it, and do everything it needs to do to create the report. So I kind of sped through this, but you'll see as it generates. So it tells us some of the largest spending in government contracts is defense, cybersecurity, specifically cloud. Small business and DEI rules are shifting, but small firms still exist. So now with this information, we can take this data and develop some strategic plans on how we can acquire government contracts because we know what the trends are. And it search way more resources and valid sources too. That's another thing. You want to validate the sources that it utilizes. And when you do deep research, it does that automatically for you. All right. So That was my portion. I just want to give you guys a few examples on how you can utilize some of these free tools. They do have paid version of a lot of these tools that are a little bit more advanced. You know, you can either use it more often or it has more advanced features, but a lot of these are free. So you can start today, download them, start using them, and become more efficient in your work. So um, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Ali Mack, aka Allison McNeil, one of my good friends. And once again, I appreciate her support for her being here. She's done these type of trainings for the entire center for the National Chronic Disease Prevention Center. And I'm just happy that she's able to do it for us tonight. So, Allison, I'm going to turn it over to you. Oh, I can't hear you. No, still can't hear you. Uh-uh. Uh, hold on. It was working earlier. Hold on. Try to rejoin. All right. All right, you guys just bear with us.
Great information so far, Mr. Coppage.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Glad it's helpful.
Okay, how about now?
Yes, there you go.
Whew, that was close. That was
Yeah,
close.
because I can't feel your shoes, definitely. I'm like, so I'm glad you're able
All right.
to speak. Thank you.
Thank you for your patience. William, that was amazing. I'm going to have trouble sleeping tonight because I'm going to go create a SharePoint site that I have no idea how to do, but I'm going to let Perplexity figure it out for me. So
Nice.
thank you for teaching us that. And thank you for having me tonight. Hi, everybody. My name is Ali Mack. My presentation tonight isn't going to be about turning you into AI engineers. It's really about giving you a calm, human-centered way to think about the tools that William and Gerard showed us. Next slide. During this next part, we're going to do three things together. We'll get a simple picture of what generative AI is and isn't, walk through human in the loop checklist so you know how to keep quality and safety, and then try out my lantern loop so you can turn fuzzy questions into clear decisions. Next slide. Let's start by naming the elephant in the room. For some of us, AI feels exciting. For others, it feels scary or just a lot. When I say generative AI tonight, I mean tools like ChatGPT and other assistants that can draft, text, summarize, or help you with organize ideas. What William and Gerard have given us is a great overview of these tools in action. And I know you're excited to get in there and start using them successfully. You don't need to know any special jargon. We're going to focus on everyday tasks like writing emails, simplifying information, and making decisions more thoughtfully. Next slide. Here's the most important idea of the night. Generative AI is a pattern tool. It's not a brain. It predicts likely next words based on patterns in the data it was trained on. That means it can draft and summarize and reorganize text in helpful ways, but I don't consider it a source of truth. It doesn't know things the way people do, and it definitely doesn't understand your community or your mission in the way that you do. So because of that, AI needs three things from you: your purpose, what you're trying to do, your approved inputs or the facts or text that you trust, and then your final approval. And that's a human saying, yes, this is accurate and it's kind enough to share. There's also a myth out there that AI will replace us, and I think William did a really good job of showing it's actually much more accurate to say it'll replace some of the drudgery so people can stay focused on decisions and relationships. And that's what I really believe. And so as we walk through this, I think you'll see that as well. Next slide, please. Okay, think of this as a partnership where you are always in the lead. The system's role is to do the heavy lifting on drafting. It can give you options, condense long text, try out different tones, or help you organize material. But the human role is where the real power sits. You set the intent. Why are we doing this? You provide the vetted facts. You decide the audience and tone, and you edit and approve the final version. The rule I want you to remember is simple. People are accountable and the system assists. If something's wrong or harmful, we don't blame the tool, we adjust the human process around it. Next slide. You'll hear me say human in the loop a lot. And all that really means is there's a human present at key steps, especially before anything is shared. First, this helps with hallucinations. You've heard about that before. It's when it confidently makes up facts that you could easily believe were true, except that you're going to check to make sure it's actually true. Second, it keeps the work aligned with your mission and your audience and your timing. The tool doesn't know your context, but you do. Third, it creates a traceable path from input to decision. If someone asks, where did this come from? You can point to your source, your draft, and your edits. Next slide. Here's the simple loop I recommend whenever you use AI for anything public facing. Number one, set purpose and inputs. Decide what you're trying to do and paste in the trusted information. Don't just say write something about X with no guardrails. Number two, generate a draft. Let the tool do the first pass. It's really good at that. Number three, fact and risk check. Are the facts accurate? Are there any leaps or guesses? And could this unintentionally harm or confuse someone? Number four, edit for tone and voice. Make sure it sounds like you and fits your community. Number five, human approval and a brief change log. Before you send or post, a human approves it every time. And ideally, you keep a short note of what changed and why, especially for high stakes content. Next slide. If you're wondering, okay, but what would I actually use this for? Start small and practical. Great starter use cases are first drafts of emails, FAQs, social captions, outlines, summaries of long reports or meetings or transcripts. I see someone invited AI today. I think you'll get a great summary of this meeting. And then audience variants, like turning one core message into a version for staff, a version for partners, and a version for the public. You stay in charge of the message. The tool helps you get a better first draft faster. Next slide. To use these tools responsibly, I like to think of three guardrails that are always on in the background. No sensitive data. Don't paste in personal health information, confidential HR details, or anything you wouldn't want outside of a secure system. Cite your sources and label questions. If you pulled facts from CDC or another trusted source, say so. If the tool fills in detail that you don't recognize, flag that as a question instead of letting it slide, and then follow up to find out where that came from. And then check for bias and accessibility and keep a human approver. That means thinking about how different groups might read this and make sure at least one human is giving the final sign off. And then, of course, keep track of your versions and what changed and why. Next slide. There are also some clear slow down or don't go zones where AI should not be in the driver's seat. Avoid asking the tool to create new facts without citations. If there's no clear source, treat it as a draft to check, not the truth. Avoid adding in sensitive or regulated data like identifiable patient information, confidential HR, anything covered by strict privacy rules. And then don't use AI for final legal or HR decisions or for topics where lived or licensed experience is required. It can help you brainstorm questions to ask a lawyer or HR professional, but it shouldn't replace them. Next slide, please. Okay, before you hit publish, here's a 5-point checklist you can run in under a minute. Is it true? Do the facts match your sources? Is it kind and useful? Is this likely to help somebody or just try and impress them? Is it safe to share? No private details, nothing that would harm trust. Is it mine to say? Am I the right person to actually share this story or information? And then did a human approve it? Has at least one actual person taken responsibility for this version? If you can say yes to those things, you're in a much safer place to share AI-assisted work. Next slide. At this point, William, you just know. You know when I'm just going to let you know. So this might be my favorite slide because it's where your value actually shines. AI can accelerate patterns, it can rank, draft, and reorganize information quickly, but the people can supply the purpose, deciding what matters, who's affected, and what should happen next. Your unique edge is translating a draft into real-world choices. What do we do with this? When do we say it? Who needs to hear it first? That translation From text on a screen into wise action is where your ethics, experience, and empathy live. And AI can't touch that. Okay, so you knew coming from government, we were going to have an acronym. And so Lantern is my little memory aid for making decisions with AI. And so next slide, I'll talk you through what that is. So locate the why. Before you even open the tool, ask yourself what outcome matters and to whom. Anchor the facts. Decide your source of truth. Paste in, excuse me, I got a dry throat all of a sudden. Paste in vetted text and mark unknowns as question, not assumptions. Name the stakes. Who's touched by this now, later, or invisibly? That keeps people, not patterns, at the center. Test the pattern. Ask where could this be wrong or shallow. Run a counter example or make a boring pass to check the logic. Explore the edges. Think about privacy, bias, potential harm, downstream effects. Ask for unintended consequences and mitigations. Rank the options. Use simple criteria like impact, effort, and risk. Pick one option and say why. And then the last one is next move and note the learning. Choose a small next step and assign an owner, a time, and capture one lesson you want to use next time. Okay, let's make this real with a actual health example about blood pressure and knowing your numbers. First, we're going to choose a topic, high blood pressure or hypertension, and why it matters for heart health. Next slide. Then we choose our source of truth, CDC pages on high blood pressure and heart disease risk factors. The AI is not the source of truth, CDC is. So we'll pull out a few key facts you can see here. Next slide. Next, we'll show a before paragraph based on those facts, accurate but dense and written for professionals. So you can skim this later if you want, but it's an accurate portrayal, but maybe a little less consumer friendly. Next slide. Then using the AI and the Lantern Loop, we created an after version. Same facts, plainer language, shorter sentences, and a clear next step. Get your blood pressure checked. This is the pattern. Start with the solid facts, let the AI help with the wording, then use Lantern to check the meaning, tone, and safety are still intact. Next slide. Sorry, William, I'm just like coughing all over the place tonight.
No, you're fine.
In this workflow, Lantern sits on top of AI as the human review layer. Locate the why. Why does this piece exist? What action do we want? For example, get your blood pressure checked instead of just know about hypertension. Anchor the facts. We checked every line against CDC, not against what the model thinks. Name the stakes. If our wording confuses or scares people, they might tune out or avoid care, which would actually increase risk. Test the pattern. We check the reading level and ask, would I say this way to a neighbor or a family friend? Explore the edges. We strip out the blame, keep the tone calm and respectful, especially for sensitive topics like health. Rank the options. If we have a few drafts, choose the clearest, kindest one. And then next move, we find the gold version and reuse it across the materials so everyone's saying the same thing that's accurate and safe. Next slide. So that wraps up the process piece. And so one of the things I like to do is I just like to take a simple pledge that I like to ask other people to do as well. Next slide. So number one, first, people decide, systems assist. AI never replaces human judgment, especially in health, legal, or life-impacting decisions. Number two, we test for bias, privacy, and downstream impact. We pause to ask who could be harmed by this now when it's written or used. Third, facts are sourced and unknown things become a question line. Something isn't clear, we don't let the model guess, we treat it as a question and we resolve it. Fourth, we keep a brief change log for higher stakes content, noting what changed and why it helps with accountability and learning over time. It's not about perfection. It's just about building habits to keep the tools pointed in a responsible direction. Next slide. Thank you for spending time with me. I love to think about how our role as the human in the loop matters for AI. I hope you leave tonight not feeling any fear, but more of have a few starting points for AI drafts and summaries, keeping people in the loop and letting your mission and values lead. If you try something and it feels clunky, that's normal. It's experimentation. Start small, notice what helps, and keep what serves you.
Awesome. Thank you, Allison. So at this point, we'll open up the webinar for any questions. And I'm sorry, I'm presenting, so I can't see the chat. But if you did post a question in the chat, feel free to come off mute and ask the question verbally. So, um, does anybody have any questions? And let me see if I can.
William, you're going to make the recording available, right?
Yes. So if you want to come back and rewatch it, you can definitely do so. And I'll send that out to everybody that registered.
So that's one of the things I would say is that like this was a lot of information to take in. So if you come back later and look at it and run through it, we're still available for questions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know where to find us. All right. Awesome. Well, if there's no questions, I want to thank everybody.
Can I
We're
ask a
gonna.
question?
Oh, okay.
Good evening. This is Toya Austin. Thank you so much to both of you all for providing this resource for us and this evening for this call and conversation. I do have a question because I definitely use Chat, Gemini. I've never heard of the, what was it, Perplexity? That's new to me. So I do have a question on when do you typically do you use Perplexity just like you would Chat GPT? Or is there any specific reasons why or things that Perplexity does that maybe Chat or Gemini wouldn't? I'm just asking for knowledge because I haven't used that before and it's new to me.
Okay. So personally, what I use it for is when I have to perform a task. So I use it more in the agent capacity. ChatGPT, I feel like it's more robust when it comes to the knowledge and information. But Perplexity, if I need to, let's say fill out a document or something or create a report, if you will. I can put the prompt in Perplexity, give it the data, and it will create the spreadsheet for me, or it'll fill out the SharePoint list for me, or like you just saw earlier. So personally, I use it more for engagement, to have it do things for me.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I know it's kind of a new concept. Hopefully, I answer your question, but it's a new concept with the AI agents. I know a lot of people aren't used to that, especially with the browsers, but it can be very helpful. Like I've even used it to my family and I were going to Alabama, and I was looking for an Airbnb, so I was able to put it into the browser and tell it to look for places that at least had 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, like all the criteria that I needed for that trip. And it was able to provide me with that report.
So William, I've been using agents during the shutdown. I would have an agent run every night when I was sleeping and give me a report in
Mhm.
the morning on what news there was about the shutdown and my riff. And so
Mhm.
I love it actually to do work for me while I sleep.
Absolutely. That's a great point. So that's another feature. You can actually have it automated where it starts at a certain time and do things for you. So as Allison just mentioned, she woke up in the morning and she had an update on the shutdown.
Mhm.
Yep.
Thank you both for that. I'm gonna definitely look more into Perplexity.
Hey
All right.
William, to piggyback off that real quick though, this is Gerard. ChatGPT, well, Perplexity is a full-blown web browser where ChatGPT is more so a chat environment. And ChatGPT has just released their version of Perplexity browser as well. So you can achieve the same goals of Perplexity browser with the new, I forgot the name of it, but ChatGPT did release their version of a browser that does the AI agent.
That's right. I think it's Atlas or something like that. I forget the name of it too. But it literally just came out. Is it for all platforms now? Because I think before it was just for Macs.
I don't remember.
Okay. Yeah, but technology is advancing fast, as you guys can see. So it's just a matter of making sure that we know how to use it to make us better at the job, at the work that we do. Yep. So any other questions?
Yes, this is Christy Longshore. Thank you, William, for inviting me
Hey,
tonight.
Christy.
I would love to utilize this as I'm in outside of what you know, William, my technical field. So I fielded a question on here about can AI analyze an electrical one-line diagram? Do you think that that's possible?
Can you say that one more time? One line, what?
Can it can AI analyze an electrical one-line diagram? So there are one-line diagrams that might have switchgear, UPSs, all these critical power things. I'm just wondering, can can it get that technical where it can look at an electrical one-line diagram? Do you know if it can do that? And you might not. I just thought I'd ask.
I would say maybe,
Mhm.
but even if it can, you still have to have somebody that knows if the results are correct.
Right.
Because there's a way to even turn on a camera, like let's say you're looking at the diagram physically in front of you, and you could turn on your ChatGPT camera and
Mhm.
have it look at it and tell it to analyze it. You know, that's a way
Okay.
of doing it as well. But once again, you have to verify those results.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right.
William, I actually threw that into ChatGPT. I can copy and paste the output and put it into the chat if
Okay. Nice. Thanks, Robert. There you
uh
go. You can ask, can you do this? And it'll tell you. So,
it should be hopefully it exceeded the character count. So that's why it's not going through.
okay.
But that's a good idea. How about just ask it, can it do it?
There you go. I think I should see it now, Robert. Yep.
I'll try and put the rest of it in there separately.
Okay. But that's good though. It says, here's what I can do. Read, interpret the diagram, breakers, transformers, feeders, panels. So it looks like it can.
Awesome.
Yep. And then that even gives you what it can't do.
Mhm.
It can't stamp or approve anything,
That's
code
great.
compliance.
Give you our flash information. That's okay. I just wanted to
Yeah,
look at something. That's great. Thank you.
I
you're
just
welcome.
used your exact question, but to what William and Ali have been saying and Gerard, I don't know if you have to kind of proof it in terms of, is that what you meant by a electrical one-line diagram?
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
I got what you're saying. Excellent. Excellent.
Uh,
Thank you.
All right. Thank you both. All right. Any more questions? And just so you guys know, we're going to be doing these type of sessions periodically. The next one we're going to do is probably going to be more of a coaching, personal development type session. So we'll send out the invite to everybody for that one as well. And we're going to have some key experts, some people that you may know, have heard from recently, helping with that. So the main goal is to ensure that everybody gets the resources that they need to grow and be successful. So with that being said, everybody, have a great night. And Ali, did you want to say anything else
Thank you
before
for
we close
having
it
me.
up?
It was so lovely getting to be here. Thank you, and I learned a bunch.
Thank you. Learned a lot as well. And thank you, Gerard, too. I know you're under the weather, so thank you for joining us. All right, you guys. Take care.
Feel better, Gerard.
Thank you. Thank you.